Hey, it's Lila here, doing a spotlight on one of the Otome Jam 2023 entries, which is called Reap Your Love. This is by Lavinia and team. So a little bit of a spiel, let's have a look. So Chiyo, by all accounts, is an average Japanese high school student, except for her undying love of isekai webcomics, which leads her to dream of reincarnating into another world, having grand adventures, wielding magic, saving the world, and most importantly, falling in love. Sign her up for all of it. But when three grim reapers from different worlds each approach her with an offer to actually be reincarnated into their fantastical realms, will she give up on her current boring life or reconsider her dreams? So already I'm quite fascinated. Usually my view of the Grim Reaper is kind of like this black cloak, maybe a really scary face, the kind of this scythe thing that you can see here in the graphic kind of icon. So I've never actually seen Grim Reapers who, one, are young and two, are hot. So just saying, I'm already intrigued by this take on Grim Reapers from different worlds and them being young and attractive. So already I'm very intrigued. Also, the clock is ticking with only 7 days until Chiyo's death. So I do appreciate that from a writing perspective. You can really focus on the fact that there is a time-bound element to the story. So I really like that. I do take heed of the note where it's saying for the Otome Jam version, only the route for Eugene, the steampunk reaper, is complete with more to come. So I do appreciate the kind of heads up there, which is really nice. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and access the game here. I'm just going to do a quick check of my settings. So the graphical user interface, very clean. Yeah, super easy to navigate. It's very clean and I really like it, how things are so clear. I tend to like the background music quite long. I like the sound effects high, and I love the fact that this is already indicating that there's some voice talent and that some of the lines are voiced, which is great. So I've got that on full volume. I'm not going to mute everything because I've got it all to my preference. These are all looking good. I actually like the text speed quite fast, so I'm going to go ahead and make that fast, and then I think we are pretty good to go. So yeah, let's go ahead and start. I'm so sleepy. I stifle a yawn, putting my hand on my mouth. I can barely keep my eyes open. Any attempts to comprehend the long mathematical formulas the teacher is scribbling on the blackboard result in failure. Memories of the webcomic I read all night flood through the forefront of my mind. The human girl reincarnated as a villainess, and other characters were so mean to her. But she prevailed through kindness and determination. She changed everyone's opinion of her, navigated a web of politics in the kingdom, and became a queen. She found out she had powerful magic too, and fell in love with a hot wizard who supported her. Oh, how I wish I could be the main character of that story. I would love to do anything than sit in this boring school. I want to fall in love with a magical hot man. Oh yeah. Hey, Chiyo. The girl sitting next to me nudges my arm. What? My voice comes out higher and louder than I want to be. A squeak. Blame the overwhelming tiredness. I only slept for 2 hours. What indeed, Miss Tanaka? Have you forgotten you're in class? Crap. The teacher, she must have been speaking to me. How come I heard nothing? I've been so far gone in my head. I'm sorry, what was the question? I asked you to come to the blackboard and solve the exercise, but you haven't paid attention since the class started, have you not? Should I admit I haven't been following the topic at all? I'm sorry, I haven't been paying attention. I have been listening. Do you know what? I can't. Okay. I'm gonna. I'd already saved that before. Okay, that's cool. How do I get back return? Yeah, I'm just gonna fess up. I'm sorry, I haven't been paying attention. I'm sorry, I haven't been paying attention. I wait for the teacher to get angry with me, but she just sighs and rubs her temples. At least you're honest. My classmates whisper amongst each other. I sit up, not enjoying being the centre of attention. A blush creeps up on my cheeks. Oh man, I hope she doesn't call me. I've no idea how to solve this exercise. I suppose it'd be a waste of time having you solve this formula. Who wants to finish the calculations? I will. The girl next to me gets chosen. I breathe a sigh of relief. Putting my best effort trying to pay attention, but it's an uphill battle. The next period is PE, physical education. I'm in no shape to play basketball, so I excuse myself and fall asleep. An hour of sleep has me ready to face the rest of the day, as ready as I can be. The remainder of my lessons goes by without any further accidents. I have to walk through the park to get back home. The sakura trees and the spring flowers are full bloom, but the sight doesn't stir my heart. The sights look so dull to me, almost as if they had no colour. My heart throbs as if I'm in pain. My thoughts wander again, but this time the topic that comes to mind isn't a fun webcomic. My thoughts wander to Yui, my best and only true friend. We've been friends since childhood, went to grade and middle school together. However, her parents had to move to the capital last month and she went with them. We've been keeping in touch through texts and messages and phone calls, but not having her around, not seeing her smile, or hearing her terrible jokes has made me feel so empty. I never found a world around me particularly interesting, so comparison to fantasy realms I read about, without Yui I feel so alone. Nobody talks to me in class. Am I even truly alive? That's her, the girl whose life we're supposed to reap. Are you certain? Affirmative. I'm positive that's the girl with the colourful soul too. Right, I can see how her eyes gleam with magic. Huh? Oh, yes. I turn around to see three strangely clothed men floating above the ground. So I can press H and see everyone's character design. So you can already start to see the amazing character design that's gone in place for each character. So you've kind of got the one on the left, who I believe is Cole. So he's kind of got this kind of futuristic, almost like single half pair of glasses on, looks like speakers and headset on, and it's almost this kind of like futuristic kind of glowing suit. This almost looks like a skull there just underneath his chest. I do like the dark and the kind of blue kind of accents on his design. He looks really cool. So middle guy, I think he is, if I'm remembering correctly. Does it tell me who's who in the zoo? Oh yes, can I cheat here? So Eugene is kind of steampunk dude, and Reynolds, I'm guessing, is the middle one, and Cole is the other one. Okay, cool. I've got their names now. All right, so let me go back. So Reynolds, I really like this. It's kind of like what does it remind me of? It's almost like the like a soldier, or like in kind of official battalion command. It's kind of got this the kind of shoulder detail, kind of these tassels coming off. Again, you've got the skull. Oh, they've all got a skull, of course. The Grim Reapers. Yeah, okay. I kind of like this, I don't know if it's like a tie lapel or not quite a tie, but like an equivalent. I really like this gold accent on his thing. His cape is amazing. I think I want this cape. Reynolds, I'm going to borrow your cape. Love it, son. Okay, we have Eugene, who's kind of steampunk style. Here you've kind of got like the goggles. I believe it's kind of like this aeronaut type style. He's kind of got the kind of like metal arm thing happening. I like his kind of stopwatch here. He's got the kind of cane with the skull on top, double belt kind of design here. Very, very cool design. So loving the character design here. Really, really lovely, and they're also unique as well. And Grim Reapers who are young and hot. I mean, this is already a win, right? Okay. I turn around to see the three strangely clothed men floating above the ground. What? How is this possible? We seem to have unsettled her. So blue for Cole. How bothersome. This is not the most ideal place for this. So I'm guessing orange for Reynolds. And the darker red for Eugene's red hair, I'm guessing. We're not here to have a tea party with her. Let's be quick about it. Who are you? A woman with a dog sends me a long glance and walks faster, as if trying to get away from me. I am screaming in the middle of the park, after all. The men's eyes turn to me and widen. You can see us? Heck yeah, I can. You're floating in the air. Who are you and what do you want from me? Should I run away? But I'm oh so curious who they are. Reynolds. I'm Duke Reynolds de Verdi. Eugene Amos Griffiths. Lieutenant Cole Stafford of the 52nd Galactic Fleet Nebula Corps. Wow, their names sound so foreign. I love how you've got their first name and surname for most of them and like middle names for these two. That's really cool. Come to think of it, they don't look Japanese. We're Grim Reapers, all three of us. And that's where we have a problem. Grim Reapers, deities who take human souls. That's right. Perhaps we should have this conversation somewhere else rather than in the middle of the road. Ah, that's true. We wouldn't want this lady to bring more attention to herself, no? Understood. Follow us immediately. This will be an excellent opportunity to escape. However, how am I supposed to leave them after they drop such a bomb on me? Still a bit confused, I follow them to an area of the park with less people. Am I dying? Oh, and by the way, gosh, I love her eyes. Look at that. She's kind of got a bit of blue, a bit of pink, maybe a hint of purple in there. Gosh, she's so pretty. Love her. You're scheduled for reincarnation, to be precise, and one of us is supposed to reap your soul. Technically, all three of us are supposed to kill you and reincarnate you into our worlds, but only one can do it. You have only one soul, after all. A shame considering how much potential your soul has, how brightly it shines. I blink once, then twice, trying to comprehend what they mean. I'm dying? But I'm only 16. How can I be dying? Am I suffering from some kind of disease? No, but you'll be killed in a traffic accident in precisely a week. All of us need your soul to be transferred to our worlds, however, so we came to visit you personally to prevent your soul's random reincarnation. This is so much to take in. I always want to be like the heroines of the webcomics I read. Reincarnated to be someone loved and admired, to have special powers and a man who unconditionally loves me, to live the adventure of my life. But now that opportunity is here, I can't bring myself to feel happy about it. After all, for that to happen, I need to die. Who would be happy about that? Then again, it's not like my life here is much better. That's a lot to take in. A moment's deliberation is acceptable. We mustn't allow emotions to cloud judgment. But we have to decide who will be the one to take your soul. It will be me. Me. And I think it should be me. Fight, fight, fight. They all speak at the same time and then glare at each other. Okay, I get it. You all want to kill me. To reincarnate you, we will make your death painless. Thanks, but I still don't want to die. It's a duty you cannot escape. Is there no way to prevent my death? There is none. The other's not. She is coping with this surprisingly well. I think if this happened to me, I'd be like, rah! I let out a long sigh. At least I have a week to figure it out. You know what? Since you clearly don't know who should be the one to reap my soul, why don't we do it my way? Love it. I will be the one who decide who kills me. They glance at each other. I almost expect them to not agree and kill me on the spot, but Reynold speaks up. It's not a bad idea. Sounds fair. It's the most logical outcome. Some of the tension leaves me. I have a week. Maybe I can convince the Reaper I choose not to kill me? Or maybe reincarnating into another world isn't such a bad thing. Perhaps it's just what I need to break this suffocating monotony. I give each of them a long stare. Cole clearly comes from a science fiction world. What would it be like to travel between planets on a spaceship? Reynolds seems like the fantasy man from my webcomics. He even said he was a duke, didn't he? I wonder how one can be a duke and a Grim Reaper? Eugene's attire and mechanic arm screams steampunk to me. What is his world like? There's only one way to find out, by talking to them. Mummy, that girl is talking to herself. Hush, love, let's go. The mother passing by me hurries her child after giving me a glare. I'm not talking to myself. The other humans can't see us. Wait, so I've really been screaming in the air this whole time? Ah, crap. Let's go to my house. At least in the confines of my bedroom we can speak freely without anyone taking me for a freak. Lead the way. I leave the park, my steps hurried, and the Grim Reapers floating behind me. Upon arriving at my house, I let all the Reapers in. One would think I'm crazy for letting 3 strangers into my house, I was just about to say, but I mean they're supernatural beings. And where are her parents? I think earlier at the start of the game she was talking about how her parents are really busy, so I'm guessing that she has the house to herself. And anyway, no one else can see these Grim Reapers except her, so, as parents, they wouldn't be able to see them anyway, so she's fine. I'm definitely going crazy. Welcome to my home. Make yourselves comfortable. I'm not really sure what to tell them. I haven't had visitors for a while. Thank you kindly. The three reapers observe the room. Your home is quite cozy. He means it's small. Eugene has nothing to say. So, okay, let's recap. I'm dying in a week. Correct. And one of you has to take my soul. Eugene, indeed. As per our deal, I'll get to choose whose world I go to. That's about it, yes. Well, first things first, I think I need to know more about your worlds in order to make a decision. Of course, we'll be more than glad to explain. Eugene looks away, a tad exasperated. If we must... Attitude, Eugene. Come on, a bit more enthusiasm. Let's see, what world should I ask about first? So I think I had already saved this. Yes, that's fine. So I'm going to go back to return. Now, let's have a look. What I probably would have liked is if this was in the order of the love interests in front of me, right? So Cole is from the sci-fi world, so I would have liked his one on top, but this is just me being pedantic, right? Reynold is from the fantasy world, so I would have expected his one to be in the middle, and Eugene is already correct because he's on the far right and his one's at the bottom there, so that's what I would have liked to see, but I know all the characters and I know which of their worlds, so I'm grand. Just for the purpose of ease of navigation and etc., I'm just going to go kind of left to right. So I'm going to start with Cole, who's sci-fi world. Cole, tell me about your world. Oh, neat. So the other two kind of disappear off screen, allowing us to focus on Cole. So I like that transition. That's really nice. I do like to focus on a love interest if I can. So love it. And I really do love his style. If I press H, I can see his whole style. He does seem a little bit rigid, and I'm not seeing much smiling going on here, but perhaps he's kind of serious, and I guess he did say he was a commander earlier, so potentially he's got a lot of responsibility bearing on his shoulders, but let's see. He steps forward, standing rigid and tall, as if at attention. I come from a realm in which mankind has travelled far into the vastness of space. Earth is but a footnote in our history books. Settlements large and small have been established on planets your current astronomical instruments cannot even detect. As we discover new worlds and civilizations, we also uncover new technologies, ancient powers and threats. Reincarnated into my world, you'll be capable of harnessing these powers to protect not only the fleet, but all of humanity. He steps back into place with the others, apparently content that my question has been answered. I don't read a lot of sci-fi, but even if I did, it sounds like most of what I experienced with Cole's fleet would be new to me. Discovering new things while tapping into ancient powers could be cool. Thank you, Cole. Now then. Nice. So it's kind of conditional programming. So Cole's sci-fi one has disappeared, and you've got Reynolds' fantasy world and Eugene's steampunk world left. So like I mentioned to you, I'm going to go from order left to right. So the middle one is Reynold, and he's the fantasy world. So let's go with Reynold. I want to hear about Reynolds' world. So the other two fade away. Reynold takes a step towards me, a hand on his heart, regal and serious. In my world, people are born with amazing powers, magic that comes in many forms, from governing over the elements through healing to the dark arts. Those who use the dark arts are a threat to the peace, but heroes arise to fight for everyone's happiness. The fight of good and evil continues throughout centuries, but the heroes had always won. I want you to be one such hero, a person with immense powers who will protect the peace and prosperity of the world. Wow, that sounds like a big request. On the other hand, the heroines of webcomics I love usually end up being the saviours of their worlds as well, and having immense magical powers at my disposal sounds alluring. This will be my dream come true, to be reincarnated into a fantasy world and become its hero. Thank you, Reynolds. Aww, she looks so happy. I trust you will make a wise decision. What should I do? Now then. And last of all, we have Eugene, so steampunk world. Eugene, what about your world? So similar to Cole, I like how they kind of transition into the middle. What's this music? That's a nice touch. So it sounds like each love interest gets their own kind of little tune or background music. I really like that, that's cool. The Reaper in the steampunk attire looks at me. The name of my realm is Vastia. In some aspects, it's not that different from your world's Victorian era, although it's much more advanced. Steam-based technology has developed greatly and has spread all over the world. Cities are often filled with elegant machinery, and inventors thrive by creating new things every day. Planes and zeppelins are a recurrent sight upon the skies, and the streets are filled with different marvels of transportation. If you come to my world, you'll get to see technology like you've never seen before. That does sound intriguing. Steampunk as an aesthetic is already really cool, but imagine seeing all those machines working in real life. That must be amazing. Thank you, Eugene. He merely nods in response. Now then. Okay, cool. So in terms of a first impressions and an initial playthrough, I'm actually going to pause it there. And let me just go on H for a moment. So first impressions, I really like the story and the premise. So she basically has a week, and a week to get to know the love interests and decide who is going to reincarnate her, and therefore whoever performs the reincarnation is the world she ultimately gets to go into. So I like that there are 3 love interests. It's kind of nice to have a choice of 3. Usually 2 to 3 is a really nice number, and for an Otome Jam game and just a Otome game in general, having at least 2 to 3 love interests is really lovely. So it's just the perfect sweet spot of the number of love interests. I do find Cole a little bit stiff. However, he is a commander. He does sound very responsible for a lot of, kind of sci-fi part of his world. So I kind of get his whole deal. He's still really good looking, if I'm to be honest, and I do like his whole thing. I love technology personally, so his character and his world really appeals to me. So when it comes to Reynold, I do really like his design as well. It is very regal, it is very serious, it kind of reeks a little bit of kind of royalty, and that they did mention in the story he's kind of a duke. So how can he be a duke and a Grim Reaper at the same time? I'm sure we'll find out more about that. But yeah, all the kind of gold accents on his design, and I love his cape. Like I said to you earlier, I want his cape. Reynold, can I have your cape, please? And then we have Eugene, who's kind of from the steampunk world. So he's kind of metallic arm. I love how you kind of got like the clocks and the cogs and the a very consistent design for him. So yeah, it's really cool. You kind of got the cogs and the kind of clock faces kind of littered throughout his design. He's also got gold accents, but in a different way. I like how he's got kind of, I love redheads and kind of the long red hair. Yeah, so first impressions, so far so good. I do really like the story and the kind of time boundness of it, with only being 7 days. And yeah, so far it's a really clean user interface. I like the kind of school setting and how it's kind of regular life, and then the life is kind of turned upside down when you meet the Grim Reapers. I kind of like how she's the only one who can see them. Like in a way, on one hand it's bad because if she's out in public it looks like she's talking to herself, but at the same time, if her parents did come home, she could just do and pretend like they're not there because no one else can see them except her. So overall, the premise is really cool. I love the character design. I love their personalities and how they come through. So I'm just going to go back to here just now. So if you're wanting to play more, basically you can access it by lavinia.itch.io/reapyourlove. This is one of the games for Otome Jam 2023. Let me see if I can I get back to the... Okay, I'm in screenshots just now, but hopefully it's going to let me go back to the page. Okay, anyway, it's all good. So basically, props to Lavinia and team. I happen to know Floor, who's the co-writer for this game. So awesome work, Lavinia and Floor. I can't wait to see more for this game. So this is Reap Your Love. So that's pretty much the end of my first impressions and spotlight on the game just now. But please do go ahead and download it. I highly recommend it for the character design alone. And obviously the story premise and the writing is really strong. So please enjoy. And that's Lila signing out. Thanks very much for your time. Bye now.